Hey model fans, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. And if you guys saw my last video, I kind of teased the newest model into the collection and said a full video was coming. So let me not ramble on too long. Yes, this is a brand new addition into the collection, another review. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the model. Alright everyone, so I'm sure it's probably already very obvious what the model is. Again, if you saw my last video, we had a little bit of a tease of it, but this of course is my brand new AUTOart McLaren Honda MP4 6, the Ayrton Senna car. Now this one is specifically from the Japanese Grand Prix. Now Senna didn't actually win the Grand Prix in 1991, Gerhard Berger did, but still the MP4 6 was really a groundbreaking car within Formula One. And I absolutely love this box, of course, basically the box being in the same colors as Senna's helmet, and of course representing the fact that he is from Brazil. So the completely yellow box with the green and blue stripes on the side, of course, Ayrton's name and logo that's now famous, of course, with the McLaren Senna actual road car, and then of course the McLaren logo up there. But yeah, this is going to be basically a full unboxing. We haven't done one of these for a long while on the channel, but this car comes with a lot of really cool stuff. So of course when you open it, you get your standard things like you do with any AUTOart, so telling you how to remove the screws, and then obviously the model from the base, and then a little diagram here kind of showing you all the things you can do with the model, which don't waste too much time reading this. We're actually just going to get into it. I'll show you guys everything, but I'll go ahead and slide our model out here. So of course we get the nice foam packaging in here. Now because we've already taken a look at this, the model is already open, but actually just for a second I want to move the car away. We're going to lift the top off for a second because I want to talk about here. So on the top of the box here, we actually have this little sort of a flap that protects everything. So up in the top of the box, you actually get the cover and everything for the vehicle. So if you come here, you see the actual model is just basically the stripped out car. We'll get to that again in a moment. But yeah, so on the top here, I'm just gonna set the camera back down. So if I tilt this slightly, we see we have the whole cover for the car. So we'll gently lift that out, and you can display this, of course, on the car or just outside of it. And then also in here, we have the nose cone. Just had a little piece of tape on there to secure it. But we have the nose cone piece right there. So it obviously would sit like that. And then also in here, we have the air scoop or the roof scoop, which you also have to attach onto the car, which again, we will get to that momentarily here. And also inside the box, kind of tucked in the edge here, everything is packaged very nicely. But we have these little stands. We have these two little stands because what you can actually do is, if you don't want to display this cover piece on the model, you can of course just line it up like so, and you can display it like that. So I guess a bit reminiscent of, I guess, how it would look in the garage when, you know, the mechanics are working on the car trying to fix something. So there you go. There's, actually no, there's still one more thing. There's a screwdriver here with the tiniest screws, because if you do actually want to put the cover onto the model and have it stay permanently, you might be able to see there under the shell logo, there's a little hole. There's 4 of those, or 5 of those, I think, around the car. And once you slip this over the actual chassis, then you can screw those little screws in, so you don't worry about this actually falling off the car. And then to come back to the actual chassis, the actual, I guess, car here. So as I said, of course, you can see there, it's very stripped out, which I think is actually really cool. Because I only have one other F1 car, again, different brand, but it's really cool that AUTOart did this, so you can kind of dive into it and see what went into actually kind of making one of these cars back, you know, in the 90s. And I guess even today, the same sort of basic formula is still there. Obviously, modern technology, things have improved and gone up. But just for the moment, I'm going to leave it on the base just because it'll be a lot easier just to put everything on here and not have anything move around. The wheels, of course, will spin, and the front wheels do turn on the model as per every AUTOart. But I just want to show, before we put the cover on, let's just show a few of the details. So, of course, we can see there the front suspension, how it all integrated, the double wishbone, of course, the push rod suspension up at the top there. You see how massive the front wing is here. No elements on the front wing actually move. That's all static. Again, the front wheels do move. You can see they turn a little bit. Of course, once I take the model off the base a little bit later, I can show you how that works a little bit better. Of course, all the engine components in the back, we'll get back to that in just a second. Of course, single seat racer. So, and we have all the branding. So you have the Boss, the Hugo Boss, I guess, logo there on the seatbelt. I guess they were a sponsor of the team way back in the day as well. And you can see just how small and how simple it was back in the 90s. Of course, now with the fancy double clutch gearboxes and hybrid tech and all that in F1 cars. But back in the 90s, basically all you got in there was your steering wheel. I believe you have the little manual shifter down there, so you still have to actually row through the gears yourself in the race cars back then, and pretty much that's all you got in there. Your steering wheel did have a couple things, like I think the radio button, I think like maybe the pit speed limiter, but yeah, you only had very simple steering wheel for back in the day. So now, one thing with the engine and this car specifically that makes it so special is that the MP4 6 was the first McLaren F1 car to use the Honda V12 engine. And in the 1991 season, that paid off for them because it gave them 7 wins and significant success. And of course, in 1991 was the year that Senna actually won the F1 World Championship. And it was kind of all thanks to this car, this new technology. So we can see there the engine represented nicely. Obviously, looks like a bit of a spider web of exhaust pipes coming out of there. Of course, because V12, so you have the 2 banks of 6 cylinders that are exposed up there. Of course, all your lines for oil and cooling. Of course, the 2 radiators situated on on either side. And pretty much that's it back there. Obviously, all the rear suspension components and the rear wing and everything. But yeah, compared to the F1 cars of today, this was, well, simple for what we know today, but also this car was also very technically advanced and ahead of its time a little bit back in 1991. Of course, and again, you can't move any aspects on the wing, so don't go ahead and try. But at this point here is where we can actually start to put the car together a little bit. I apologize if my voice sounds a little rough in some of these clips. I'm still a bit, allergies, still a bit stuffed up. Anyways, as I was saying, we can go ahead and start to put the car together because there's really not much else that I can show you on the chassis of this vehicle. Again, because F1 car, because race car, it's pretty stripped out, and pretty much what you see here is what you get. So we'll start by putting the little air scoop piece on, which I don't know if it'll come across on camera. It's not like, it's not really like a carbon fiber piece, but the plastic is kind of textured there to kind of look a bit like carbon fiber. But because you don't really see this piece, it doesn't have to be super, you know, well done. So anyways, you just want to go ahead here on the back. Let me zoom in a bit more. So you just want to take the front part. You want to kind of put it in there and then set it down. You're going to hear it clip in. It is just held on with magnets, so it's real easy to lift back off if you, whoops, try not to drop it. It is really easy to lift back off if you so choose. It doesn't clip in or anything, so go ahead, you'll hear that clip down. Then you have that on there, and then the next step is we want to bring in our actual cover. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. It's going to be maybe a little bit finicky the first couple times you do it. So please, guys, if you have one of these, please be gentle when you're doing this so you don't break anything. Now, hopefully you guys can see okay here. So what you want to do is you want to gently put the cover basically in behind the wing. Now, note that this central piece right here, you want to get right between that sort of gap in the wing. It might be hard to see on camera, but basically you're aiming to hit it dead center in the wing there. So I'm just going to go ahead and carefully line everything up. And the model is good. It'll kind of help guide you because it only really does slot in one way. So once you have it all centered there in the back, we can go ahead and just push down very gently from the front as well. Sorry guys, you can't see too well. So you want to just gently push it down at the front, at the back. You know, you might have to make some very small adjustments to make sure that everything is lined up. But once you have everything lined up gently, then it doesn't actually snap in. Remember, I did mention that we have these little screws to actually hold this on. I'm not sure I'll attempt this on camera. We'll see, I might. But there you go. That's how we get the cover on. Again, you're not going to hear any clipping or snapping in. If you do hear snapping, that's not exactly going to be so good. So yeah, just basically go around the model, make sure it's all tamped down. And then there we go. As you can see now, we have a bit of an F1 car starting to come together. And then of course, the last piece here is going to be our nose cone, nose bridge, whatever you want to call it. So just go ahead and gently take it out of the bag. Now this piece does clip in. So what you want to do is just gently line it up. So this little sort of hooked piece is going to sit under this bar right here of the suspension. So I want to go ahead, line it up at the front. And I should also mention that this hooked piece actually clips on to the front of the wing. So if you want to line up the easiest way, just take that little hooked piece, dead center in the middle, lay it down, and then gently push up. You're going to hear a little bit of a click from the front here, and then there we go, guys. There is our fully built McLaren Honda MP4. Now, just to show the full process, I am going to go ahead and put the screws in, or at least I'm going to put a couple in on camera just to show you how it goes. Now, one good thing, so that they don't kind of run away, is that hopefully you can see there that they're all held on by magnets. So the AUTOart provides you with the screwdriver. I'm sorry guys, this doesn't want to focus. So AUTOart does provide you with the screwdriver there and all the screws, and there's this little magnet piece that everything is stuck on. Now, as you can see, I have rather big hands, so I just have the bag underneath here just in case I drop anything. But essentially, we're just gonna gently remove the magnet. I'm going to attempt to get one little screw off here. And actually, I'm going to hold it in my hand. And I don't know if the camera is going to focus on this at all, but you can see there's literally my hand for a reference. And that's how tiny the screw is. So, thanks to the fact that this is magnetic, we're going to try and get it there. Now, the fact that this is magnetic is going to be a very, very huge help to anybody here. Now, let me struggle with this for a second. Okay, so I have it there. Now, it might be hard to see. I'm just going to try to do it under the Shell logo here. So basically, of course, all you're going to do is just line everything up. All right, I wasn't going to bore you all on camera. I think I have it now. Again, these are very, very, very tiny screws, but essentially you just want to go ahead and line it up, as I'm still struggling ever so slightly. But okay, I'm struggling a bit with this, but you guys, I think, get the general gist. Obviously, very little screws. You find the holes there. There's 6 in total. There's 3, so there's one under the Shell logo, one just in here behind the knocker duct, and then one directly at the back of the vehicle. I'm not going to try to do this on camera. I might not even do this at all because I think it will be cool to be able to take the cover off from time to time. But there you go, guys. If you did want to secure your shell right to the chassis, this is exactly how you would do it. Okay, everyone, so off camera, you can see I've just removed the model from the foam base. It's quite easy. There's only 2 screws holding this one on, again, because this is actually pretty small model. And it's really cool on here that it's actually tapered. So if you're ever wanting to put it back on or whatever, it's pretty obvious to know. Obviously, the thin part is at the front for the nose, and the thicker part obviously at the back. And there is foam actually that sits under the wheels on here, which is a nice touch that AUTOart has been adding more recently into models. It just helps the, I guess, the suspension, especially on this car, from sagging, and just helps from the wheels to not turn so much and maybe potentially get damaged while the model is traveling or in storage. But yeah, really a nice touch there. As I was saying, now that it's off the base, we can see that the front wheels do, of course, turn, and it's really cool, again, because race car and everything is so exposed, to see all the linkages kind of moving there as well. They don't move too far. I'm obviously not going to try to force it, but we can see all the linkages moving there. We can, of course, roll the model backwards and forwards a little bit. And yeah, there's really not much else to show. Again, just all the sponsors there. So of course, Shell, you get the McLaren logo there right up on sort of the air scoop. We see the Brazilian flag, and of course Senna's name as one of the drivers. Of course, McLaren powered by Honda, and then all the sponsor stuff as you do on an F1 car. If we lift it up gently, just again, keep in mind, I have not secured down the top piece, so be careful when you're lifting it if you don't secure it down. But I'm just gonna gently flip it over because you guys know how I like to show the bottom of models. And again, not much to see on here because race car basically just slightly different color on the bottom, obviously a flat floor, and we can see here how the exhaust comes right out the bottom of the vehicle on this car as well. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for the video. I can see, hope maybe here that the cover isn't 100% set down. I need to, I think, wiggle it around a little bit and you know, secure it a little bit better. But in terms of other details, again, not much to see. You can see the little knocker ducts there that expose the radiator, of course, for the cooling and airflow around the car. Again, pretty simple design the F1 cars were back in the 90s, so not a whole lot of crazy aero or stuff to speak about. Yeah, and I guess the only other thing to determine is, do you want to display your car sort of fully built like this, or would you rather take the two stands and, you know, display the cover and have the chassis and everything exposed? I don't know. I think for the time being, I'm just going to leave it as is, put it downstairs in my collection fully covered. I think it's cool, but it is nice that AUTOart gives you the stands and the option to display it sort of as an open sort of working piece. So off camera, I've been just messing around trying to get the screws in. I meant to get 2, but just wanted to update you guys. I said there was 3 screw holes. There is only 2. So there's only the one right here under the Shell logo on either side of the car, and then there's one again right behind the knocker duct for the airflow. This back here I thought was a screw hole. It's just, I guess, a little part of the livery, or just a little detail for, I'm not sure what. But yeah, there's only the 4 screw holes, but they do give you a couple extra screws because they are so tiny, I guess, in case you ever were to miss one. But I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but I was able to actually get one in. It takes a little bit of finesse, but you can get it done. So with that said, I think that's going to do it for this review. As always, I picked up this car from my friend Keith, Keith's Model Cars. He's just recently revamped and relaunched his website. So once again, I will have that link in the description down below. If you guys are wanting to purchase something from the website, I do still have a discount code active with a thanks to Keith. So if you use code Ducky10, which I'll put up on screen here at checkout, you can save yourself 10% on any model purchase. And yeah, I love the model. You know, of course, I never actually got to watch Senna race. I was only very, very young when he unfortunately passed away, and when he was kind of at the height of his racing career and his prime. But I definitely know the legend. I'm a big F1 fan today, so it was almost a no-brainer for me to add this model into my collection. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you guys are going to be picking up one of these cars, or maybe you have another one of Senna's model cars out there. And stay tuned for more videos coming real soon, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.